marry the house, date the rate. If you can handle the monthly payments with the rate buy downs, then you're in a good spot and you can refinance a few years down the road. Hopefully rates are down. Is it a buyer's market? Is it a seller's market? Well, the truth is that real estate is local. It's not all the noise that you hear on TikTok or on Instagram. You should really talk to an agent that's in your area. If you overprice your home, you're going to have to take time to decrease that price. Your property is going to get stigmatized. And in the end of the day, you're going to be losing a lot of money rather than you pricing it correctly. Welcome everyone to our first ever episode on this podcast, the Dagher Download. My name is Sharbel Dagher. I'm a local realtor here in Colorado Springs. I service all of Colorado. I'm with Remax Real Estate Group, and I have my own team called the Dagher Group. Born and raised in lovely Colorado Springs, I wouldn't imagine living anywhere else. I service all of Colorado. I've lived in Denver for a bit. I went to college in Boulder as well. So I'm very, very well versed in Colorado. I got my bachelor's degree in international business from our local college here in UCCS. I was in the medical field for a little bit, and I really brought my negotiating skills and my love for advocating for my clients from being a nurse assistant, really. And that's such a powerful thing in real estate. You really have to be good at negotiating for your clients' terms so they can end up winning the deal. I became a realtor because I just love real estate. I don't know what else to really say. My parents used to flip homes on the side. I know all the construction, but I really wanted to know the transaction part. And that's where I really went into it. And who doesn't love to break into other people's homes legally? Just kidding. Don't do that. I do not condone that. That was just a joke. We are licensed professional that we have special apps and stuff that allow us to walk into people's homes that are on the market. So please don't take that into heart. But aside from that, it's so beautiful being able to hand the keys to your client of their first home or their forever home, or a home that they're going to grow in, or helping a seller figure out their next step in life, closing the door of a chapter of a home that they've lived in with their family for 40 years, or they brought their kids home to that home, or it's a beautiful thing. It's truly a beautiful thing of what us realtors are able to do and help out in our own communities. So that's what I'm here to help my community and hopefully make transactions easy. Unfortunately, buying and selling a home is not as simple as you may think buying a car is. So and please don't hate me. I use a lot of car dealership metaphors, so please don't hate me. But it's a big step. It's probably one of the most important financial decisions that you will ever make in your life. So you want to be educated and you want to be represented correctly. So that's very important. Aside from that, I wouldn't want to be doing anything else. This podcast is really here to give information, to cut through the noise and give you real conversation about real estate in Colorado. Let's jump into the first topic. Today, we're tackling one question that I get the most from my clients or people that are just looking around. And they ask me, Sharbel, is right now the best time to buy or sell? And I totally get the confusion. There's a lot of noise about, interest rates are too high, maybe. We want to wait until the market crashes. Is it a buyer's market? Is it a seller's market? Well, the truth is that real estate is local. It's not all the noise that you hear on TikTok or on Instagram. Yeah, maybe it dials down to your location, but that's all noise. You should really talk to an agent that's in your area. So you really want to know what's actually happening here in Colorado rather than going nationally. You know what I mean? So before I answer whether it's a good time to buy or sell, let's look at what's actually happening in our market today. More homes are on the market than we have had in a while. Buyers have a plethora of choices that they can pick from. Days on market are pretty high. They're around 71 to 78 days, depending on the area. Pricing is a big factor as well. On the buyer side, you have seller concessions that can pay for rate buy downs, that could go to your closing costs. It could negotiate repairs. Like right now, I'm dealing with a client who is trying to buy a home, and with the seller concessions, we were able to get fixes covered because that money was allocated from the sellers for the buyer to get those specific items fixed. So this is actually creating opportunities for buyers that didn't exist a couple years ago. So this is really important to navigate with a professional. So the big question, is it a good time to buy? It's always a good time to buy. But for me, it's the buyers have less competition. There's more negotiating power. There's a lot of inventory out there, and sellers are offering concessions. Buyers aren't necessarily needing to be picky. And then there are some reasons that it might not be a good time to buy. There higher interest rates. You're needing a more stable job. What's the right plan for your long-term goals? So in the end, you can't really ask, oh, is right now the right time to buy? You can, but in the end, it really comes down to you personally. Is it the right time for me to buy? Because it could be a right time for Steve down the road to sell his house and downsize or upsize, but for you, it may not be. And that is totally fine. That is completely fine. There's no shame in really navigating home ownership. And that's why we're here. That's why I'm here. And that's the whole reason for this podcast, is to answer questions like these in order for you to get an idea of where you can possibly go for the future. Like I had a client who came to me about a year ago per se, asking me, hey, I really want to buy, but I don't know where to start. So what we did was we created a game plan for that client, and we sat down with the lender. We were able to navigate with her. Hey, you got to pay off some debts. You got to raise the credit score a bit. We have to hone on building credit as well. And here we are a year later, and that client did that. They were able to raise their credit score, pay off all their debts, and build their credit. And then they bought their forever home with the Dagher Group. And let me tell you, being a realtor, there's no better feeling than handing your client the keys to their new home, or watching your client close the door of their home that they were once living in and moving to a new chapter. I don't know how to explain it. It's such a blessing to be able to be a little slice of the pie for these people, for our clients, in order for them to make this big step. Because buying a home, it's not easy, people, and it's not supposed to, unfortunately. That's why we're here to help you navigate it. And if you have a good representation, this process should be fairly simple. But it all depends on really you, on how you want to take this road. So that's why this podcast is here. So if you have any questions, I'm always here to help answer those questions for you. Please send them in. If they're general questions, if they're specific questions, please let me know, and I will be more than happy to discuss them with you one-on-one. We can do that. Or if you would like, I can definitely answer them on the podcast, because you never know. You might have that same you might have a question, and 30 other people might have that same question too. So it can really help out a lot. The second question is it a good time to sell? For our sellers out there, reasons for them to sell is the home value that you had purchased remains really strong. There are still serious buyers in the pool, and well-prepared homes sell. And that's what we like to call turnkey homes. And we'll get into that here in a second. What sellers really need to understand in this market is overpricing is very dangerous for the outcome of your property. Presentation really matters on how you stage your home, how you want your home to show. And professional marketing matters. Oh, I can't tell you how much that matters through professional pictures. Because us as agents, let me tell you, I was sitting with my client the other day and I was telling her, oh, this agent used their iPhone. Granted, yeah, we pay thousands of dollars for that iPhone, but it's not the same as a professional photography. You can see it with the naked eye. It's really important to depersonalize your home. I like to call it depersonalize, but also decluttering your home too. Yes, I understand that, you're living in your home, but you also want your home to show well. And buyers, when they walk into the home, they want to imagine themselves in that home. They'll be like, oh, we can put our sectional there, or oh, we can put grandma's dining table over here. You're not only showing your home, but you also want the buyer to really feel that this is their home. That's when they're going to put in the offer. If the house doesn't show well, if it's not clean, if it's a bit cluttered, then you're going to have, showings, and you're going to have the feedback from the other agent saying, hey, the home didn't show well, it was overpriced, and they'll rate it on a scale of 1 to 5. So that's what we don't want. We want the home to show well, declutter, depersonalize your home so your home can show to that buyer that if they really like the home, they're going to pull the trigger. Now, pricing matters, and it's very detrimental to the process of your home being sold, because if you overprice your home, you're going to have to take time to decrease that price. And then over a while, your property is going to get stigmatized. And that's the worst thing that can happen to a property, is to get stigmatized. Because when a property has been listed on the market for so long, it's like, okay, come on. There has to be, why has this home not sold? That's the first question that they're going to ask. Is something wrong with the home? That's the first thing that's going to come in a buyer's mind. But most likely it's overpriced. And in the end of the day, you're going to be losing a lot of money rather than you pricing it correctly at where the market value is. You'll be getting a much better deal at that point, because when the house has been on the market for so long, the buyer's going to come back with a lower offer than what you could have potentially gotten. So pricing is a big deal. Overpricing, big no for our sellers out there. Showing is a big deal, because we're not in 2020 or in 2021 where buyers are buying homes sight unseen. Now buyers are really picky because they have a bigger pool to pick from. So that's a really big factor as well. Buyers have a lot of inventory. Why is your home better than the home down the street? That could be maybe the same floor plan. So we have to keep that in mind. And we want your home to be a turnkey property where it's priced correctly, it shows well, and then you're having an offer within 10 days or a few weeks rather than a month, 2 months, 3 months down the road. And questions that I get almost every week are, should I wait for rates to drop, or our home price is going to crash? Should I buy now and refinance later? How much money do I actually need to have to buy a house? And how much do I need to put down? And those are very valid questions. So what we really need to figure out is, obviously, we would want rates to drop, but we're not going to get the rates that are 2% like in 2020 or 2021. The market that we really would want to be in is in the 5s or 4 range, the percentages of interest, 5 or 4. That's a stable market. Right now, we're in a bit of a higher uptick, but that doesn't mean that you cannot buy. There are a lot of things out there like buy downs or rate buy downs that you can discuss with your lender. Home prices usually don't crash when rates go down. So when rates go down, home prices go up. So that's the difference. So if rates go down to like 5 or 4, home prices are going to go up. Now with rates lower, we have this saying in real estate: marry the house, date the rate. If you can handle the monthly payments with the rate buy downs that you hopefully get from your seller concessions, hopefully your agent has negotiated that for you, then you're in a good spot and you can refinance a few years down the road. Hopefully rates are down at the point that we would like them to be. But if you're waiting for those 2%, 3%, that's gonna be hard because that was probably a once in a lifetime special that we got. I don't see that happening, but I could be wrong. But for the foreseeable future, for right now, I don't think we're going to be seeing those for much for the foreseeable future for right now. Should people buy now and refinance later? That's what most people are doing right now. Like I said, they're marrying the house and dating the rate. So your lender, when rates come down, they should be contacting you saying, "Hey, you qualify to refinance," or they might just do it for you. It really depends on the lender or the mortgage company that you go with, but that's the best way to do it. If you're in a predicament right now and you really need to sell, that's a good way. There's so many options out there for you guys. Really, that's why I suggest you talk to an agent. We can build a plan for you. If it's a year, 2-year plan, that's fine. As long as you have a plan going for you, you'll be much better off instead of being in the unknown. Thank you so much for tuning into our very first episode on the Dagher Download here today. If there's a topic that you guys want to learn more about, please feel free to give me a DM. We'll see how we can tie that into our podcast. Like I said, we're going to have a whole bunch of people come through this podcast: inspectors, lenders, other agents, people that are in your shoes as well. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be a wonderful time, and we're going to go through this together. And if you're thinking about buying, selling, or just want a game plan, I'd be so happy to help you navigate that. It's very important to understand everything about real estate before you jump into it. So until next time, my name is Sharbel Dagher with the Dagher Group at Remax Real Estate Group. And this has been the Dagher Download. Thank you guys so much for tuning in.